welcome to a bit of a different video today. As you can see from the thumbnail and the title, this is going to be my first ever video where I discuss a book which I've DNF'd. I did not finish. And I feel I have to. Usually I wouldn't do a video for a book that I have DNF'd, but this one annoyed me. Irrationally, probably. But it annoyed me all the same, and I need to vent. And this is my main platform for venting about books. So this is a book that I pre-ordered. This didn't come in a book box. I wasn't sent it. I pre-ordered it because of the marketing. And the premise of it sounded like something that I would enjoy, and something that I have enjoyed in the past. That being Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. And I pre-ordered it. I couldn't wait for it. I put it on the calendar for it coming out. I was really, really looking forward to getting into this. I was so convinced when it arrived that I would love it, because I mean, look at the cover. This is the cover. Now it's like something, I mean, it's sprayed edges and everything. It seems like something I would love, and it's only a little book. I think it's only like 300 pages, and a retelling of Lady Macbeth. So I was determined that this was going to be a good read. I was convinced that it was going to be 4 stars or higher, and the marketing hype for it got me. It was everywhere on TikTok, and I should have learnt by now not to base buying a book off the hype off of TikTok. But this was one that I had pre-ordered, and I wanted it. Boy, was I wrong. So you can see I've still got the bookmark in from where I started this. 4 days it took me. 4 days. 4 days it took me to get from here to here. 85 pages out of 300. 85 pages in, and I just couldn't anymore. But I am getting ahead of myself. This is the blurb that drew me in. This is a reimagining of Lady Macbeth, Shakespeare's most famous villainess, giving her a voice, a past, and a power that transforms the story men have written for her. That should have been my first red flag. The lady knows the stories that her eyes induce madness in men. The lady knows she will be wed to the Scottish brute who does not leave his warrior ways behind when he comes to the marriage bed. The lady knows his hostile, suspicious court will be a game of survival, requiring all of her wiles and hidden witchcraft to survive. But the lady does not know that her husband has occult secrets of his own. She does not know that prophecy girds him like armour. She does not know that her magic is greater and more dangerous, and that it will threaten the order of the world. She does not know this yet, but she will. Looking back on it with the benefit of hindsight, even the blurb it ain't good. So while I read books, when I want to review them, I make bullet pointed notes as I'm reading. And so I am going to read out a few of the bullet pointed notes I made while reading the first 85 pages of this. Now, the very first point that I made when writing this, and it was only a few pages in, was that I didn't like the writing. The writing is in third person, which I really, really don't mind, but it's sort of third person and extras. We are in the main point of view of the main character, that being Lady Macbeth, except the main character is that third person, and she's narrating herself as if she has absolutely no connection to herself and the events going on around her, which you could say is clever as a, to show off her madness, that she's not really connected to herself, which it would be good if it was written well, except it isn't written well. It's bad. It's bad. Boy, it was a struggle to read. Boy, it was a struggle. So much of a struggle that I actually did a little video asking people on TikTok if they'd had the same issue with this book. And yes, people have. So a few of the bullet points I have are, there is a quote on page 17 which angered me. So I'm going to read it to see if it's irrational or not. Oh, here we go. Buckle up. Nakedness, even among women in private, is still uncommon, uncouth. Bodies are meant to be guarded like gold. The flash of a bare ankle is like dropping a pendant so that everyone can see it clatter to the ground and know that you hold its richness and likely more. What else are you hiding in your stores against your breast? How easily might it be stolen? You cannot blame a man for snatching something which has been taunted in front of him like meat before a dog. No. No, no, no. No, no, no. Ick. Ew. No. It's just, I don't like, it's bad. I don't like it, it's bad. And that isn't the only one. Oh, that isn't the only one. That was just the first one. There's another one. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the author is obsessed with mentioning lamprey eels. Every other sentence at one point when I made the note on it has lamprey eels. She compares everyone to eels. Why? Just why? And Russell, and that's her name, but we'll get there. Russell keeps saying that she wants to stay away from her husband's violence. When is he violent? They have barely spent 5 minutes in a room alone together. They have barely spoken even 2 words to each other. He isn't violent. Why? Why is this happening? Why? Based in the realm of which this is set, men went to war. They went to war with each other when they didn't have another country to go and occupy. So yeah, the guy is violent. But that's not how she writes it. She writes it like he is violent to her. And he's not. He's not. And it irks me and it annoys me. And it's one of the reasons why I'm making this video, because this is the reaction I was having when I was reading it. Calm bedtime reading, it was not. And the last quote on page 73, when I decided that I couldn't anymore, is this one. There is no blood on him she can see, and no coppery rust smell blooms outward from his body, but his eyes are angry slits. He strides towards her, and Russell cannot help but flinch. Perhaps it is better that she does. All men like it when women cower. I have never wanted to punch a book so badly. I hate it. And a few pages after this, I DNF'd it on page 85 because there's a revelation, and I'm going to talk about it. There's going to be spoilers from here on out if you hadn't already guessed, because there is a revelation on page 85 which made me want to throw the whole thing across a room, no matter how pretty and gothic it looks on the outside. Because in the early pages, up to page 85, and this is a 300 and something page book, so whether it be spoiler or not, I'm going to talk about it. All the way through this section that I read was that she has to wear this veil across her eyes and across her face, so that she, because when she looks at men, when a man looks at her in the eyes, it induces in him a madness, like a killing sort of rage kind of thing. And all the way through, it is up to where I read was that it was set up that it drives them mad, it drives them mental. You know, they do things that they wouldn't normally do, and it was all set up to be all this witchcraft and kind of intriguing. The only intriguing thing about it, like a Medusa kind of thing, turns them to stone but drives them mad in the first place. And then it is revealed around the 80th page, it is revealed that the madness she endures and suffers for the power that she is renowned across countries of the world to possess, the power that means she has to wear a veil over her face every hour of every day that she is alive, especially in company, and she cannot look into a man's eyes without turning him to madness, is nothing more than lust. Just lust. No magic. No magic. And all of this is because she decided that when she was younger in her father's house that she wanted to get frisky with a hot-looking stable hand, and she gets caught in the barn kissing him, and when he looks down at her from kissing her, his eyes darken. And now she has to wear a veil all the time because of the madness that she induces in men's eyes. His eyes darken, for God's sake. It's idiotic. It's idiotic, and I hate it. And I wanted to throw it across the room because do not hype me up for magic and witchcraft and then give me a mediocre explanation of nothing. But did I DNF it at page 85? I did. But I skipped through because I hadn't even got to the good bits. If anybody doesn't know the play Macbeth by now, where have you been? Because the good bit starts when King Duncan, the whole thing is because of a witch's prophecy, Macbeth will be king hereafter, is Thane of Glamis, is Thane of Cawdor, and then he's king hereafter. And then King Duncan stays in his palace, and they murder him and take the crown. And the whole thing is that whole thing. And the guilt and whatever manipulations come with it. So I skipped ahead to get to the good bits to see if, it improved when it ramped up a bit. No, it didn't. It stayed as dull as dishwater all the way through. I skimmed it to the end. So I would pick a page and I would just read like a few pages and think, oh, why? And I was getting more and more annoyed, as you can probably tell. And as you can tell, one of the main things that angered me is the character. The decimation of every single character that we know in the play Macbeth, in the history, in the real history, because Macbeth was a real person, as was Lady Macbeth, and the utter destruction of the characters is unnecessary. So everybody knows the character of Lady Macbeth, even if you're not quite sure of what happens in the play. She is manipulating, clever, shrewd, calculating, cold, politically ambitious for her husband and herself. She is very persuasive, and she is a woman of her world. She knows the score. She knows what to do and what to put across to get where she wants to be. Now, if anyone in the original play is, like a little bit sappy, it's Macbeth himself, having to be pushed and cajoled to greatness. Yes, by murder, but still, by his wife. She is the driving force behind everything he does, as well as the prophecy by the three witches on the heath. And don't even get me started what she did to them. In this version, Lady Macbeth is a timid French, waif of a teenager who's dispatched to horrid Scotland, and Scotland gets such a bad rap, such a bad thing in this. It's like she has something against it. It's just awful the way she portrays that country, and I love Scotland. It's bad, but she gets dispatched to horrid Scotland with backwards way of doing things, to marry this brutish, hulking beast of a man whose reputation for violence in battle is known throughout the land and lands adjacent. Macbeth is the one pushing her to do all these horrible acts. The things that we know happen, the taking over of a different fiefdom and the taking of the crown and all that ambition, it's Macbeth driving her to do it, her to commit it, and she just is along for the ride. The historical inaccuracies in this I'm not even going to go into, because even in just the 85 pages that I properly read, it made me want to scream, because it's why? And the witches. I mean, the most famous thing in Macbeth is the witches, and it is their prophecy which drives the backbone of the story. This is a spoiler. It's a spoiler. So if you wanted to still pick this thing up, this is I've already done a full spoiler thing. But there is no magic. There is no magic in this. There's no witches in this. There are 3 women that he keeps locked in a dungeon under his castle. that are each purported to have the gift, but they admit to Lady Macbeth that they don't. They just tell Macbeth what he wants to hear. And they are each of them his ex-wives. What the fuck? You are really going to ruin. You are really going to ruin it. Why? It makes me so angry. It makes me so annoyed because it's not like you have to pull a story out of your ass. The story is there, not just the story. The play is there, Shakespeare's play. Lots of people have reimagined it. You could have done that. But not only is the play there for source material, the real history, the real Macbeth and his wife and his family and what they do, and the whole history of him and King Duncan, where do you think Shakespeare got it from, for God's sake, is there. It is there for the taking. It is one Google sheet away from researching. I mean, you don't even have to do a full deep dive to write a good Macbeth retelling. You even just need to know the basics. And the annoying thing is, she knows the basics and fucks them off anyway. So yeah, if you can't tell, I hated this book. Hated it with a passion. Hated it enough to do a video on a book that I have DNF'd. And it probably replaces the book that I hate the most, which is Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. And there is a video, I did review that video, because that book is better than this book in one way. The fact that I finished it. This I didn't even finish because it's fucking tripe. It's driving me to drink. I hated it so much. I'm going to sell it because I am not having this abomination on my bookshelf. And it's such a shame because I was so looking forward to it. I so wanted it to be good. I was so looking forward to it. I mean, look at the cover. It should have been everything I wanted. And it didn't even cover the threshold. I really didn't like it. But one thing I will say, if you do want to read a good Lady Macbeth retelling, I would rather go for this one. The Queen is Dead by C.H. Follen. And this was her debut novel. It's a 5-star read from me. I'll link that video up there and down below because this book is good. That book is awful. So I would highly recommend this one and recommend that you don't read the other one. But let me know your thoughts down below on this rant that I have had. I hate when I don't like a book. I don't usually do a video like this, but I had to get it out. So yeah, if you are reading a book that you are not enjoying, just DNF it. Just DNF it. There is no time in this world, in somebody's life, for a bad book. So until next time, either keep reading or don't.